This video, I'm going to be breaking down the Bunch X Nasty and the Chargers offensive playbook. And this play or this formation is really powerful because it has a couple of my favorite plays in the game. It has motion cross post, motion RPO zone alert, motion Y corner under. Those are the three main plays in this offense. It also has a couple other unique plays. It has return motions if you guys wanted to use this return whip trail. It's kind of an underrated return route. I like return whip trail, return mesh spot. Those are some good plays. And then you also have whip double spot. So I'm just going to come out and drive half back under. I'm going to come out in whip double spot, and then we're going to go through some of the reasons why this offense is really good. So the first thing that I need to show you is, something that is really popular in this game is to run some type of cover two shell because it does a good job at defending corner routes and stuff like that. So if they cover to the solo side, this motion cross post play is going to kill it. This motion cross post play is really good because there's kind of a, I'm not sure exactly explain it, but when you call this play, when you snap it, most of the time this cheat motion happens so fast that it's hard for them to adjust. So I like to do a kind of a route combo like this. And if they run cover two on this left side, this is going to be a touchdown pretty much every single time. And this is really kind of the core piece that I think makes this offense really good is because if they call a cover two man, which is also another popular way that people like to play defense, is they like to run shade down man. If they're going to press up and play shade down man on this, this is also going to have a really good chance at getting open. So you see how he just kind of like torches the man coverage across the field. The deep half can't get there. And you see that this is just a really, really valuable play because it takes some of the core methods that people will play coverage with, and it basically just eliminates them from their vocabulary, from their capability. They can't really play those coverages against this. If they cloud flat on that left side, and again, I'm just slanting the slot, streaking the solo, flatting the running back. If they cover to this left side, you can see again, same basic thing, right? It doesn't have, and the reason we put the running back on the table route is because if we don't put the running back on the table route and they soft squat on that left side and they're not setting zone drops, so they're kind of using a match concept basically with this, then what'll happen here is this little cheat wheel is going to get covered. You see how he'll get matched. Now you do have your drag or slant underneath it, but I personally think that you want to be able to take the top of the defense. If they get them, you get them in a coverage that they don't, you get them in a coverage like cover two. You want to be able to just take the top of the defense. So anyway, the slant and the running back route are a little more of a check down if you guess wrong or if they just happen to adjust well. And really, the two ways they can adjust to this play is they can either run cover four drop, right? Or they can either run cover four drop or they can switch stick to the soft squat. So an example of them switch sticking to the soft squat off of a cover two would look something like this. We call this. Actually, 1 second here. See if I can do this. So they do that man up right. That would be an example of the match, and then you can just throw running back, and that would just be an example of like if they switched it to it, then you're able to throw this underneath route. Now I'm in the Chargers playbook, and if you guys do want to get my Chargers offensive ebook, that's in our school community. $10 gets you access to everything over there. For $10, you get access to all of our offensive and defensive ebooks for both college football and Madden 25. So if you want to check that out, that link is going to be down below. The next thing that we can do is let's say they cover three this left side. If they cover three this left side, this throw is pretty free. You can still kind of squeak this in, right? You can sneak it in. So you have that. Another thing about this is one of the things in this game is we know that let's say they're doing a coverage like this. This is a pretty popular coverage for a bunch style of set, right? And there's a couple ways to get to it, but essentially this would be like the basic idea, all right? And what you're going to look for here is this seam streak on the left side. It kind of can get into an area that is pretty decent. So let's see if I can hit it for you here. We're looking out here to the left side, and you'll see, it kind of ran almost too quick there. So we can just take the post. That's fine, right? But something to kind of look at is Another coverage that I think is pretty popular would be to outside third this guy on the left side and then basically create a cover three cloud type of defense. So it looks something like this. So the outside third will cover your cheat motion. So that's something you got to kind of look at a little bit. But if that safety fans outside so far, what you're going to see here is safety fans out so far. I can throw this right up the middle and have a decent shot at actually hitting that for a touchdown. It's a tight window throw, but it is something that you can do in this offense, and I'll try to show it a little bit better. You got to kind of have a good pass lead to get this thing to work right, but this is definitely something that you have, and I just want to make sure you're aware of that. So that would be an adjustment they could do, and it would stop the outside fade, but the inside streak, you'll see here, just kind of right in the middle, split them. That right there, that throw. That is something you do have against like a cover three cloud type of defense. So if we think about this in terms of like process of elimination, what do they have to do to cover this play? What do they have to do to cover this play? They basically have to either play cover four or cover three to the left side, and I would say they honestly don't want to even necessarily be in hard flats because if they're in hard flats, it's a little bit, it's fairly easy to hit this outside cheat wheel. Let me show you. So this is just basically cover three hard flat, and this is just something that you want to look at here. So again, off the snap, that's a hard flat. He dives down to the running back. That you see how that throws open, right? So that's a hard. It's a hard play to guard. It really is, and really, I think there's a couple ways they could go about guarding it. One of the ways that I think works best is a pressed cover four drop hard flat. Most people don't want to be in a press cover four drop hard flat because what that does is when you force them to press, you basically eliminate cover two on both sides of the field. They can't really run cover two. But you'll see here this outside quarter, and you see, I mean, he's not even necessarily playing that great, but normally that would be something that you would anticipate, like a cover four or cover three to the left is kind of the main thing that you probably would see. Okay, so then we can kind of build around those possibilities. So one of the things that you want to be able to do is off of the same cheat motion, you want to be able to go in different directions with your plays. So what I like to do here, this next setup, is we're going to whip zig this solo wide receiver, and then we're going to streak the slot wide receiver like this, and then we're going to run the cheat wheel like so. The running back, kind of up to you. I'll probably still just table route him. But what we're really looking for is this is against cover four. And this is something we can hit against cover four pretty easily. We're really just looking to throw this zig right in there. It's a little window right there. Boom. Just quick throw that zig. And this is where, I mean, honestly, you don't even necessarily need to put the running back out on the pattern. Like we can just do it like this. This would be like a blocked running back setup. But the zig is a really important route because what the zig is going to do is it's going to put a little bit of stress on the yellow zones. And this cheat fade will pull flats too. So you see that flat will jet out. We throw that little whip route right in that little pocket. Now, another thing that this combo does that I think is helpful to the offense as a whole is it's also going to do a really good job against like a non-shaded down cover four, or when they start putting seam flats and purples. That's a really powerful route. You see it's a lot more open, and you get about 10-15 yards on that. Another route that I like to use, kind of in that same light, off of this again, pretty much the same motion to a degree, is a running back streak. And then on this right hand side here, we're going to take the tight end and put him on a flat. We're going to put the slot on a whip route like this. And then you can really do whatever you want on the left side. If you want to put this guy on a post, a deep crosser, like be my guest to put him on any of that. And what this is going to do is it's going to do basically the same idea. It's just now over here to this side. And if that doesn't get open, then you will have your, I'll show you where your running back streak gets open here. Try to show a little bit better example here. Push across post, flat, zig, streak. Basically like this. You're going to use the short cross too. You can leave the short cross. But essentially, you're looking for this little table route or this little whip route. And that yellow normally Let me explain why that yellow is not going to be there. So if they're sitting in a cover 4 blitz like this, like almost everybody that runs this is going to have almost everybody in this game is going to have a 4-man blitz. So they're going to use her over here. Why would they use her over here? Because we've been hitting them all game with motion cross post, with the seam streak, and all that kind of stuff. So you start to hit them over there consistently. Now this gives you the ability to attack this right side when they don't have a yellow zone. So if they don't have a yellow zone on the right, that's really why you would run this. If you notice, they're running a lot of cover 4, and they're not really having a yellow. As you see, the nice little read that you have. Uh, so I like to have that. I like to hit that play a lot. And then the other thing about that is, let's say we go back out in the cover 4 and whip double spot. All right. So now let's say they do have a yellow zone over here. So that would mean that they're going to be in a cover 2 to the right hand side, and they're going to have basically a defense that looks something like this, right? Pretty much. And then again, we're assuming it's a send 4. So this guy's probably going to be blitzing. So they can use her the running back route. But what happens on this play that is good is you have this little crosser. So they'll have to use her this running back route because it'll be wide open. And then on the right, the yellow is going to take this zig. So the route you're going to look to hit here is actually going to be the crosser. So you see here, kind of goes through, and you can throw this right in this little pocket. It's a short crosser, gets underneath deep blues pretty well. So that's another reason why I like to have that. Speaking of whip routes and quick throws and things like that, one of the things that I like to do in this offense as well is this play whip double spot. So what you a couple different ways you could run this. I like the fact that the zig is from the tight end. So we're just going to flat the outside receiver. We're going to drag the slot receiver, and we're going to in route and stem up to 15 yards the backside. So you see it looks like this. What you have with this play is I think a really good table route. The table route runs really quickly. It's better than a hot routed table route. He just cuts better. So you have that. And then on this outside here, you also have your little tight end whip is a little better than the slot whip because it gets a little bit more into the middle area of the field. And then you also have this is just like I said, it's very quick hitting play. You also have this backside drag, which runs super quick. And then let's say that they are setting up a defense that's going to do decent against that. So the way you would practically speaking, again, the shell that you pretty much ultimately are going to see a lot when you run this offense is you're going to see this covered shell basically right here. Like this is the covered shell. And normally it's going to be a send 4, and you'll see these yellows are going to you're going to try to use the yellow zones to take away really the zigs and the little drags and stuff like that. So then the beauty of this is you'll see as this kind of goes, I can hit this in route right in that little pocket right there. So that's another piece of this offense that is really valuable to have, is you have something like this play mesh, like this play tight end whip. Now, as I said, I do think one of the main coverages on the left side that you get is this cover 4, and that's where this drive under play becomes very helpful because if they're hard flatting you in a cover 4, it's a pretty hard user to make on this left hand side. So what I like to do with this play is I like to drag the tight end, I like to streak the outside receiver, and then you can do really one of two things. You can either do a post and stem him up twice like this, or you could do a corner and stem him down once. So either setup. And what you're looking for here really is this high-low on the left. That short corner from that corner or from that receiver on the left is going to do a really good job, as you see, at attacking any kind of cover 3 or cover 4 hard flat. Let me show you that short corner again. And you see, I just want you to see the short corner route. See how it just really cooks that coverage? The short corner is really valuable in this game because it does stuff like that to cover 4 type coverages. So we have that in this playbook. We have this drive halfback under with a short corner. We also have this running back in route, and this running back in route is really good against man to man. So if they want to run man to man on you, this running back in route, it's almost like a speed route. It just beats man very well. So a couple different ways you can kind of build around those two patterns. So one of them is you can utilize a wheel route on the outside. This wheel route will kind of clear out a lot of space. I really like double. I love the tight end drag in this. And then you can either leave a streak or you could do again, that post and stem it up twice. That's just going to give you a big hitting route over the middle that they have to kind of use her. You'll see here, like cover four. You see how he can kind of just cooks over the middle. So you have that. But again, the main read to me is this high low to the left side. And what we're really looking for, so like if they cloud flat, watch what happens. So here they're going to cloud flat. Now you can take that tight end drag, cut it up field. You got about 12, 15 yards out of that. So it's a great little play, in my opinion, because you're able to attack that whole left side with a short corner route. And the only real way that I've seen people consistently stop it is switch sticking to the corner. That's really the only thing that I've seen that's really good. Another thing you could do at a drive halfback under if you wanted to is you could block the running back. I like this right here too. I think this is a pretty underrated setup. Is you do the flat zig on the right, which they kind of have to kind of sit over here, and then it's a very quick hitting horizontal strain that you have in this. So that would be another thing that you could do out of this play that I think could make it pretty good is if you did something like this, and then with the running back, you could. This is actually a stemmable route, so you could stem it up to 10, which is kind of an underrated thing to do because look where it hits. It's going to hit like an in route right there. So, something you could do. Again, we're pretty much walking them into having to play cover two to the right side, right? And that's where there's a couple different ways in which we can attack cover two to the right side. One of the ways you can attack cover two to the right side is with a streak and a wheel. And what you'll see here is this outside wheel. That streak's going to clear out that half, and then this outside wheel can be thrown over there on the right side. Try to show that again. I think an underrated motion is off of this whip double spot play, right? You have this little zig over here. I accidentally hot routed the zig, but the zig is kind of a cool route to have, and then you layer that with the wheel, and then you'll see here that this can hit. I just can't, for some reason, I can't throw it in practice mode. But we will show that. We will get it for you here. So like whip double spot, a thing you could do is you could streak this guy on the right. You could deep cross this guy or wheel him, which is going to give you kind of the verticals wheel. And then on the backside, you can really do whatever you want, right? I want to show this. You see how I can hit this in this little window against cover two if they are cover two into that side. Now, the thing you have to watch for is the potential switch stick that you're going to get over there on the right side. And so if they do switch stick to the soft squat, the thing that you're able to hit is going to be your tight end whip. You see here, just kind of hit that tight end whip, and you see how good that route is. So I like to hit that. I like this tight end zig play a lot. Another setup that I like is this motion corner under. We haven't really got too far into this. This is another really good play to have because of how you can incorporate this. It's going to look exactly the same as motion cross post, except now you're going to have this little zig over the middle of the field to be able to attack them. So the way I like to use this zig over the middle of the field on the return route in general is I like to wheel or table the back. I like to drag this slot, and then I like to streak the receiver, and we basically turn this into a cover two beater. So the first thing we're looking at is obviously the seam streak. The second thing is really this return route right before it gets to the yellow. As you see right there, you can kind of throw it before it gets to the yellow zone, and it's going to be a little bit of a matter of how your opponent wants to use her. Do they want to use her in a certain way? But let's just assume that the user stays over here on the left side for the return route. Then what you're able to do is you're able to hit this tight end corner on this play. You'll see here. You just go and then watch this tight end corner. Tight end corner actually got. Oh, I forgot they're in cover two sync. You could also run it with the slot on the corner. So if you wanted to run it like this, let me show you. Motion Y corner under. Streak the tight end, corner the slot, stem him down one. and then the combo on the backside is pretty much the same. But the reason why you might want to do this just runs a little faster, so it's harder for them to just. It's like you don't call this play all the time, but against cover two, this play is really good, and so it's just something that I like to have. You could, if you wanted to, you could run the motion cross post play basically the same way, and then if they do run cover two sink, you could just throw your drag, right? You can throw your drag against a lot of different coverages. But in general, that's how I would use that play. I'm trying to think of other uses, um, how I could other also use this return route. The return route is just a very meta route. You want to have that in your plays. I think in general, another usage of a return route in this game is for utilizing a. I pretty much think it's in general going to be this drag flat combination on the left. But then on the right side, there's a couple other uses for it. One of them is essentially a flat to the tight end and then a deep in route about 15 yards like this. This is going to space out very horizontally. And so what you'll see is you can throw that drag, you can throw that route, and then you can come back and throw that dig on the middle of the field. And again, why would you call this play? I think this play is actually best called if they're running a lot of cover four drop on you. So I don't call this specific setup of this play unless I think they're going to be running a little bit more cover four drop, and I want to give them a different look in terms of how we can attack on the left. So you see here, a lot of times they will give up this return route. I'm telling you right now, that throw right there is the main portion of the read. Like that throw is hard to guard, and that's the throw that you really want to take advantage of. So, trying to think of other setups I really like. I really like this motion corner under. Another setup that I or not or drive epic under. Sorry, another setup that I would do out of this is with flat corner streak on this right, and I would run it literally just like this. And the reason I like this is because again, we talked about it. They're going to run a lot of cover two. This is going to beat cover two sink. So if they run cover two sink with the soft squat's never going to match that corner, and that makes this throw pretty open. So what do they have to do to defend this? Well, they have to play. What do they have to do to defend this? They have to switch stick to the soft squat, which they don't want to do that because if they do that, then that's going to mean that they're, and almost always, they're in some type of coverage like I'm showing you. So if they are switch sticking to the soft squat, then you're going to be able to hit this short corner. So let's say that, and we come back left side, and we see, oh, our ISO corner route wide open over there on the left side. The other thing is, let's say that they actually switch stick, let's say that they switch stick to the vert hook, which is not something you see a lot, but you do see that from time to time as they'll switch stick to this thing to go guard this. So if they make that adjustment, then now your running back route will be open. It's a nice little route to have. We go back to drive it back under, and you're gonna see, boom, right in that little window, right in that little window. Now there, I did get a KO, but in general, this is a pretty good play for these yellow zones. Another thing that I like to do at a whip double spot, this is like kind of a gotcha setup, but I do like it. Is essentially we're just gonna flat the outside guy. We're gonna in route the inside guy and stem him up 3 times or 15 yards like that. And the main reason I'm doing this is I'm looking to throw this hitch here to the left, and just kind of again forcing that potential. You really what you want to do in this game is the way that I like to run this play. That we know that this play just destroys cover two. That if they run cover two, that this play is just going to be a really nice play for you. So we want to try to force them as much as we can to run cover two on the left side. And the way you force someone to run cover two is by attacking that left sideline with the short corner route, or by attacking the left seam flat, left yellow zone area. Like those are the two places that if you can get attack those consistently, that forces a cover two, and then your whole offense is able to be open from that. So that's kind of the why behind what we're doing from attacking this left side. That being said, another way to attack this left side is to drag a tight, do a setup like this, where this is a super heavy, fast attacking left side play. The reason I like this setup as opposed to the slant is just because the tight end is going to get underneath the yellow zone better. And so you can kind of throw this tight end right in here. It's a quicker throw, and it's not a spammable, like I wouldn't spam this setup, but I do like this setup where we just motion cross post, boom, 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 right? Like I really like this play. You can put the running back on either flat or block him, but really what we're looking for here is for them to switch stick there and guard, and then throw that tight end. And if they do, then we can also throw this. Another real underrated route, and I'm telling you, I don't know why people don't throw this more. The 15-yard in route from the slot on that same setup, because the post is kind of easy to switch stick, but a 15-yard in route, a stemmed up 3-time in route, you're going to see here, watch where this gets. See how it really stresses that yellow zone a lot more. So that's another thing that you have. Again, just trying to manipulate that cover two, just trying to manipulate cover four, and really force a cover two show. I would, something like this, I think is going to be a pretty good way to do it, because he looks like he's running a seam streak. No, he's just running an in route. Now you might have to get it up a little bit more than that. But what we're anticipating is this left side hook curl is going to go guard the left side hook curl is going to go guard the tight end drag. That's the main thing we're really anticipating. So if we did something like this is actually a 20-yard in route. But watch how this runs. Boom, right there. Right there. That's a quick, like you could throw that pretty hot. And yeah, good route. Good route to have. So in general, these are some of my favorite plays from Bunch X Nasty. We didn't even get into this RPO, but you can stem this RPO all the way up and turn it into a streak. And then you have this streak, and then you also have this flat that you can throw. And I really like throwing that quick flat. Again, if we're thinking about it, they're not going to run cover two, right? Almost never are they going to run cover two on that left side, because if they do, there's a lot of holes in their defense. So if you're getting a lot of cover four, cover three coverage, then you see how that flat kind of jumps to the side. You see how I can just pass that up, and it was a hard flat. Like that was actually a hard flat coverage. So the best way to stop the RPO is what? Well, cover two. But what does cover two give up? Everything else in terms of how you would want to play this offense on the left side. So I really like this offense a lot. I think this offense really threatens a lot of what people want to do. And my preference on this RPO is to throw that flat. Now, if they are, another thing that you can do, I'll show you. This doesn't work all the time, but this is something that you kind of want to know about. Is, let's say they're baseline and they're doing the double safety stuff. What you might be able to do, and I didn't go over these plays, but I don't really call them as much. But anyways, what you'll be able to do here is, if I go to this motion RPO alert, and let's say they are in cover three hard flat, for example, what can happen is this R1 can pop for a touchdown. You're really reading the safety here. See how he comes down, and then you can hit that up the middle. It doesn't always happen. So if they pass commit, or they don't bring the safeties down enough, or they man him up, like they're not in the coverage you think they're going to be in, there's a lot of reasons why it might not happen for you. So you need to be aware of that, because if it doesn't happen, let the game hand the ball off. So like right here, I'm looking, okay, it doesn't happen. All right, well, just hand the ball off then. Okay. So just a little something. But this offense as a whole is really good. Obviously, you can incorporate this with tight open, bunch strong offset, tray offset, some pretty good formations around it. But in general, this is how I really like to run the bunch X, the bunch nasty from the Chargers playbook. Thanks for watching. If you guys want to check out the full ebook, then you can join our school community, and that link is going to be down in the description below. For $10, you get access to everything that I know about Madden 25 and college football 25.